Let's start with the upgrade mandate because, honestly, understanding what Pi is requiring reveals organizational discipline. Pi Network is mandating that all Mainnet node operators complete the version 20.2 upgrade by March 12th. That's a hard deadline. Nodes that don't update will lose connection with the network. This isn't optional. This isn't a suggestion. This is mandatory. That's important because it shows Pi's project governance can enforce requirements across its distributed network. That's much harder than it sounds. With thousands of independent node operators worldwide, enforcing uniform upgrades is challenging. But Pi is doing it. That shows either serious development coordination or, serious desperation to push the network forward. The upgrade is step one in a larger progression. The target is moving the entire network from version 19 to version 23. That's a major infrastructure overhaul. It's not like Bitcoin's incremental patches. This is fundamental protocol evolution. The reason for mandatory sequential upgrades is stability. Pi could theoretically allow operators to jump from version 19 directly to 20.2. But that risks network instability. Different node versions running simultaneously creates incompatibility. Sequential upgrades ensure every node is synchronized. It's slower. It's more annoying for node operators, but it's safer for network integrity. This discipline is actually bullish for Pi as a project. It shows the team isn't rushing. It shows they're thinking about infrastructure stability. That's how mature networks operate. Bitcoin and Ethereum both manage upgrades carefully. Pi is doing the same. Now, let's look at the complete upgrade roadmap because, honestly, understanding the path shows the scope of infrastructure work. Pi isn't just upgrading to 20.2. That's just the next step. The full roadmap goes 19.1, 19.6, 19.9, 20.2, 21.1, 22.1, and finally 23.0. That's 7 versions, 7 sequential mandatory upgrades. That's months or potentially years of coordinated updates across a global node network. Each version presumably adds functionality, improves stability, or enables new features. Currently, the focus is version 20.2 by March 12th, but that's just one step in a much longer journey. Node operators are essentially signing up for continuous mandatory upgrades. They can't ignore them. They can't skip steps. They must update sequentially or disconnect. What does this schedule mean? It means Pi's development team has mapped out major technical changes planned over the coming period. Version 23.0 is the target end state. That end state presumably enables whatever features Pi is planning. The DEX launch mentioned is part of version 20.2 preparation. But larger utilities are probably prepared for later versions. This roadmap is both impressive and concerning. Impressive because it shows planning depth. Concerning because if execution slips, the entire timeline extends. If version 20.2 has bugs, it delays reaching 21.1. If 21.1 has problems, it cascades. Multi-version rollouts are high risk from execution perspective, but from vision perspective, it shows Pi is serious about fundamental infrastructure transformation. Now here's where the strategy becomes clear and ambitious. While executing infrastructure upgrades, Pi is simultaneously testing AI computing tasks on nodes. That's the real story, not the DEX launch, not the version numbers, the AI testing. Pi collaborated with OpenMind on a case study exploring whether nodes could handle AI workloads. The test run object recognition tasks across the node network. Nodes processed AI-generated images and returned results within seconds. That's significant. It shows Pi nodes aren't just blockchain validators, they're general-purpose computers that can run computational tasks. If that works at scale, it changes everything about Pi's utility model. Currently, Pi nodes validate blockchain transactions. That's their job. But nodes have excess processing power. Most computers running Pi nodes use a fraction of their CPU capacity. The nodes sit idle most of the time. That idle capacity is wasted. The AI experiment tests whether that idle capacity could be repurposed for AI computing, distributed AI workloads, object recognition, image processing, other machine learning tasks, all running across millions of computers worldwide. If this works, Pi could become an alternative to centralized AI infrastructure. Users run Pi nodes. Users provide unused processing power. Users earn Pi tokens in return. It's elegant. It's ambitious. It's transformative if execution succeeds. But here's the reality. Running AI tasks on distributed networks is extremely challenging. Coordinating millions of computers to work on AI problems requires sophisticated software. Ensuring result accuracy across distributed systems is complex. Managing compensation fairly is tricky. This is genuinely hard infrastructure to build. If you understand the difference between ambitious vision and actual execution, you need to like this video right now. One click helps the algorithm reach people who think critically about cryptocurrency projects. Plus, share this with other Pi community members. They need to understand what Pi is actually attempting and the challenges required to execute. Let's talk about the vision because it's genuinely interesting. Pi founder Chengdiao Fan explained the strategic thinking here. AI is transforming global economic systems, and, well, automation is replacing human labor. New mechanisms are needed to distribute economic value fairly. Pi's theory is that blockchain plus verified digital identities could support more inclusive economic participation. Instead of AI companies capturing all the value, distributed participants could share in AI's economic benefit. The model is that millions of users run Pi nodes. Their computers contribute computing power to AI systems. They earn Pi tokens proportional to their contribution. Economic value is distributed to many people instead of concentrated in companies. This is the radical vision. Not Pi as a payment network, not Pi as DeFi infrastructure, Pi as an economic redistribution mechanism, blockchain enabling fair participation in AI-driven economies. That vision excites Pi supporters for good reason. It addresses real problems: automation displacing workers, economic value concentrating, inequality increasing. If Pi could solve these through decentralized AI infrastructure, it would be transformative. But the vision depends entirely on execution. Elegant visions don't matter if the network can't actually run stable AI computing, if results are unreliable, if compensation is unfair, if the system is manipulated, the vision collapses. That's the critical risk for Pi. The ideas sound, but building the infrastructure to realize it is extraordinarily difficult. Now let's talk about the reality checking. Pi claims 350,000 nodes and millions of KYC-verified users. Those are substantial numbers, global infrastructure, real participation. But Pi also has, some documented problems. KYC verification delays are persistent. Users report months-long waits. Verification rejections happen without clear reasons. Support is often unresponsive. These operational hurdles really show the gap between ambition and execution. This gap is, honestly, important. Vision is easy. Building infrastructure is hard. Managing global operations is, well, difficult. Pi's team is clearly capable, but they're also clearly stretched. They're executing protocol upgrades, launching DEX features, testing AI infrastructure, managing massive KYC processes, and maintaining community expectations all at the same time. That's honestly a lot. Things will slip, timelines will extend, promises will be delayed. The March 12th deadline for version 20.2 might slip. The AI computing rollout will probably take longer than hoped. The path to version 23.0 will likely encounter obstacles. This doesn't mean Pi fails, it just means execution is hard. Mature projects manage multiple initiatives while maintaining stability. That's what Pi is attempting. The KYC delays are concerning, but they're not disqualifying if they're ultimately resolved. The critical question is, can Pi maintain momentum on multiple fronts while managing operational challenges? So, here's what makes Pi different from your typical blockchain projects. The AI direction is, honestly, genuinely novel. Most projects out there are just trying to do what Ethereum does, but, maybe a little better. But Pi is trying to do something entirely different. We're talking about decentralized AI infrastructure powered by everyday users. That's ambition. That's vision. That's potentially transformative if executed. It's also high risk. High risk because AI computing at scale is honestly still an unsolved technical problem. High risk because competition from companies like OpenAI is, well, pretty fierce. High risk because execution is extraordinarily difficult, but if Pi succeeds, if the AI infrastructure actually works, if users actually earn meaningful returns for processing power, if the vision materializes, Pi becomes something genuinely new in cryptocurrency. Not a financial network, not a DeFi platform, an economic redistribution mechanism enabling participation in AI-driven economies. That's honestly worth paying attention to. Thank you for watching this Pi infrastructure and AI vision analysis. The version 20.2 upgrade is important for network stability. The path to version 23.0 is ambitious. The AI computing tests are genuinely interesting. The long-term vision is transformative if executed. But vision without execution is just hype. Pi's critical challenge is maintaining momentum on multiple initiatives while resolving operational issues like KYC delays. The coming months will show whether Pi can balance ambition with execution. If you want to stay updated on Pi's upgrade progress, AI computing tests, DEX launch, and whether the decentralized AI vision actually materializes, stay subscribed. We're tracking whether visionary projects deliver or disappoint. Check out the other videos on TJ Crypto World. We've got deep dives on blockchain infrastructure, execution challenges, and everything else you need to evaluate cryptocurrency projects critically. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate the Pi community's ambition. And I'll see you in the next infrastructure analysis.